Haha! I knew you would ask me that question. But Scott, I've calculated my calories. I don't know what to do now because everyone is telling me I need to calculate my macros too. Yes, you're right. Technically, to be anal about things, calculating your macros will specialize your nutrition more. But the fact that you have started with calculating your calories and you understand your requirement according to your goal, that is a great start in itself. So now that you are ready, you are more educated, you are more focused on your nutrition, we can split those calories up into the 3 macro, major, big, whatever you want to call it, macronutrients. The protein, the carbs, the fats. So, let's get started and let's roll the intro. Still don't have that, really need to get one. Anyway, let's get started with working out your macros. Like I said, you have protein, carbs, fats. What are they? Well, you know who's coming in to explain that to you? Dude, come on. I know they hated on you in the last video, but they like you. Come on, come on. A protein is a polymer of amino acids joined together by a peptide bond. Each amino acid, as you can see, has a carboxyl, a hydrogen, an amino, and a variable group. Thanks for that. Yeah, so protein. Protein!
Protein is for your repair of your cells, your muscles, your tissue. Our bodies are constantly in a catabolic and an anabolic state, and we need to ensure by intaking enough protein that we are in a positive nitrogen balance and therefore maintaining or even building, hopefully, our muscle to get bigger, stronger, and repairing from our training. It has 4 calories per gram, and that will come important when we start calculating our macros out.
But, most importantly,
protein is essential for survival. We need protein to survive.
please, I want to survive.
Without it, we will literally die. Now, for fats. In you come.
As you can see, fats are composed of hydrogen, oxygen, and carbon, and that they consist of 1 glycerol unit with 3 fatty acids attached to the side. Thank you.
So fats come in monounsaturated, polyunsaturated, saturated, trans fats. Saturated fats aren't bad for you. The ones that are really bad, if anything, are your trans fat. Also, all fats have 9 calories per gram. Remember I said protein had 4? Fats have more than double the amount of calories.
Oh my god, they must be bad.
No. Fats play a crucial role in nutrient transport, hormone production, brain health, energy, and just like protein, they are an essential macronutrient. Without them, we die. Come on, explain carbohydrates.
Carbohydrates consist of a carbon, a hydrogen, and an oxygen, with a ratio of hydrogen being twice that of carbon and oxygen.
Thanks for that. Carbohydrates
Cereal.
can come from monosaccharides, disaccharides, and polysaccharides. They are the key source of energy for our body, and they, just like protein, have 4 calories per gram.
But
They are not essential. Not! Read it! So your body can function without them, unlike your protein and your fats. This being said, I did mention they were the key source of energy, so if performance is your goal in the gym, having that supply of carbohydrates can be greatly beneficial, and by no means should you be limiting them in your diet. No. Don't be this guy. Now, let's get to calculating your macros. Hopefully you know your calories based off my previous video, so now let's break these down. And these numbers by no means are they set in stone. You can manipulate them later on, but as a starting point, this is a great place to start. So, firstly, we want to focus on the essential macronutrients, the protein and the fats. That way we can ensure we're not gonna die.
yay.
Let's start with setting your fats. Yes, if you take your weight in pounds, you need to have 0.45 grams per pound. If you take your weight in kilos, you need to just have 1 gram per kilo. So for example, a 154 pound person, 69 grams of fat. Or, if you're in kilos, a 70 kilo person, 70 grams of fat. It's the same. Next is your protein.
Protein.
The same. If you take your weight in pounds, you need 1 gram. 1 gram per pound of body weight. If, however, you take your weight in kilograms, you need 2.2 grams per kilogram of protein per day. That is still slightly high, but better safe than sorry. Now, you move on to the non-essential, the carbohydrates.
Cereal.
You can either fill all of your remaining calories in with carbs, which is my recommendation, or you can split it and have more protein, preferably not, or fat and split it between fat and carb. This will depend on your preferences and your situation. Usually if you're a higher percent body fat, you might be more insulin resistant and therefore not tolerate the carbs as well, and you may therefore adopt a higher fat approach but still have some carbs in there. It's all up to you, but for this example I recommend you fill in all of your remainder calories with carbs, because carbs equals performance in the gym, which equals progression, and progression is the key
To gains, bruh. Gains. Gains everywhere.
So I have done an example. I'm going to leave the recommendations at the top, but for a 154 pound person, 70 kilos, requiring 3,000 calories per day, they will need 154 grams of protein. First off, now we said fats. Fats for this person comes out at 70 grams on the dot.
Now for carbohydrates.
So this requires a little bit of calculation. As I said, protein has 4 calories per gram. Fat has 9 calories per gram. Therefore, if we multiply 70, the amount of grams of fat, times by 9, and add this to 154 grams of protein times by 4, we can get how many calories we have already used by designating those macronutrients, and therefore be left with an end amount of calories that we can designate to carbohydrate.
Yay.
70 times 9 plus 154 times 4 equals 1,246 calories. Now, we know you require 3,000 calories, so we subtract that from the 3,000 and we are left with 1,754 calories, which we can now, seeing as we know that carbohydrates have 4 calories per gram, divide this amount of calories by 4 to get the amount of grams we need per day. Result? 438 grams of carbohydrate. Now, most of you will be like,
Oh my god, isn't that all gonna make me fat?
no, what makes you fat is a calorie surplus. Think of it this way. If you have $20 or €20 per day, and you go away and you spend €20, and you now want to invest the rest of your money, which is zero, into the bank, you can't invest anything, so you can't store it. But if you go out with that €20, you spend €10 of it, and at the end of the day you're left with 10, you can then store it in the bank. And the same goes for calories. If you have leftover calories, so if you are in a surplus, you are going to store it. It doesn't really matter whether it comes from protein, whether it comes from fats, or whether it comes from carb. There you have it, your starting macros. Now, when you hit plateaus in your progress, you can adjust those macros either by adding or by subtracting, preferably carbs or fat. If you don't gain weight, add carbs, or add fats, or add a mix of both. Same goes for losing. If you don't lose weight, reduce carbs, reduce fat, reduce a little bit, or increase your activity. It makes things so much easier. And can you fill these macros however you want, eating Pop-Tarts and whey? Yes, technically.
Say what?
But
Why did I do that?
by doing so and filling in your calories from foods very, very low in nutrient quality, you are severely impacting your health. So if you care anything about your body, your overall health, you will stick to my rule, which I like to do, the 80-20 rule. Have 80% of your overall calories coming from nutrient-rich foods, things like vegetables, fruits, fibrous carbs, lean proteins, and then have your 20% going for your little treats to keep you sane. That way you get the best of both worlds.
There you have it.
Now, you can go and track your macros using an app in your phone such as MyFitnessPal, and then a weighing scales or a food scales that you can measure out your food. That way you input the amount of the food into the app and the app does all the working out for you. You don't need to do any calculation.
Happy days, bruh. That is the end of the video. As always, subscribe, like, and share this video if you want to see me be an idiot. Yay.